Straight ahead on WBKB News at 11, community members in Tawas discussed a controversy involving City Hall. Plus, new plans for Lafarge have some Alpena residents concerned. And firefighters and law enforcement will be battling on the ice. We'll have those stories plus your local weather and sports. WBKB News at 11 starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between. This is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. Your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at 11.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Allison Preston. There's been uproar in the Tawas community after former Mayor Kane Kelly was allegedly coerced into resigning following an escalated legal issue involving a local family. Members of the Tawas community flooded City Hall to voice their opinions on what they say was an unjust act by some of the Tawas City Council members. The issue at hand all started with a group of chickens. In early September, the Hearst family received a letter from the city stating that, according to an ordinance, it was illegal to have chickens on their property.
We had done some research and believed that we were going to be covered by the Michigan Right to Farm Act, which we believed would trump any city ordinance.
The family had to either get rid of them or request a hearing with the city council within 14 days to state their case. But they claimed that after calling City Hall and stopping by, they had not heard a single thing from the city council and the 14 days had passed.
We were given a warrant for both of our arrests, so we had to go to jail, we had to post bail.
The council had heard about the issue only after the Hearst served jail time. Former Mayor Kane Kelly then approached the couple to help resolve the problem, advising them to remove their chickens and set up another meeting with the council.
I received a email from our city manager, Martin Morris here in Tawas, asking me, Kane, we can create an injunction which their charges will be dropped, the fines will be returned. Would you like to see this happen? They said, yes, of course.
Kane says he then forwarded the email from Morrison to the press, who printed it days later. However, when the Hearst went to court the following week, they were unaware of the injunction and unaware that if they pled guilty and the injunction had gone through, they would have their fines returned and the charges dropped.
When the Hearst went to court that following week, they pleaded not guilty instead of guilty under bad advices from others, and the injunction blew up. If the injunction was ever carried through and presented to the prosecutor by our city attorney, I don't even know if that was even on the table at the time.
Kelly was then called to a special meeting with the council members Dave Dickman, Janelle Walmsley, and Kim Miles, who presented him with a pre-written letter of resignation due to the fact that he had given the press release discussing the injunction to the newspaper. They then allegedly stated what would happen if he did not sign the letter of resignation.
He will press charges. So under severe duress, I signed the resignation he had presented to me.
Kelly then found out other members of the council had not been informed of the letter and did not vote on presenting it to Kane. When members of the council were approached on the issue, they refused to comment, but the majority of the public had quite a few comments to say.
The council today held a meeting at 11 o'clock in the afternoon, gave nobody in this town an opportunity, the working people, to show up. They designed the meeting, they sculptured it, shaped it exactly the way they wanted it.
Kelly is now pressing charges against Walmsley, Miles, and Dickman, and the police are investigating the issue.
We will also be asking for the resignation of Martin Moore and the firing of the city attorney, Kenny Miles.
Kelly is preparing a recall petition and has also entered a letter of resent to try to gain his seat as mayor back and finish the last 2 years of his term. Alpena commissioners approved a commercial rehabilitation district that will be established for construction of the new Holiday Inn Express Hotel downtown. The location of where the hotel will be built has a number of challenges that's going to affect the cost of the project. In response, the city has been working with the developer of the project to come up with assistance in which a 10-year tax abatement will be used on all local property tax with improvements to the property, but is excluding land and personal property.
The tax abatement will help them in regard to their cash flow because this is an expensive project. They're looking at anywhere from $7 to $8 million of investment.
Sundin expects the abatement to be sent to the State Tax Commission by the end of the month and approved by the end of the year. WBKB 11 meteorologist Adam Claybon is here with a first look at the weather. Adam?
Good evening. We are seeing the clouds around the region right now. Some areas are seeing that rain. 54 degrees, north winds at 5 miles per hour. But let's go ahead and take a look at temperatures across the nation, because we were at 82 back into Omaha, 80 degrees in Cincinnati and Kansas City, and at 84 in St. Louis. So that cool air, or that warm air, sorry, is to our south. We'll see a little bit of that as we head into the afternoon tomorrow. Highs will be back in the 60s. So it has been quite as chilly to end off this week as what we have seen to begin off this week. But as we make our way into tomorrow, more rain does look to be in the forecast. As we go ahead and take a look at the radar, you can see showers continuing to develop and will continue to work their way in from the west and the northwest. We'll see more of that as we go throughout our day on Friday. But showers, they're in the forecast for tonight, and we'll see that the rain continues on into a Friday, so it's just going to be another wet one for us. But by tomorrow night and on into the weekend, are we expecting the rain to finally end? Well, I'll have that answer, as well as a complete look at your 7-day forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Thanks, Adam. Some residents of Alpena spent their Tuesday night at the public library for a hearing on a proposal with Lafarge. WBKB reporter Michelle McConaughey has more.
Many Alpena residents gathered at the Alpena Public Library on Tuesday evening to attend an information session and hearing on Lafarge Midwest Incorporation's plan to burn additional fuels at their plant.
It's important for us to hear what the citizens have to say and what they feel about the proposal and what they think about the draft permit.
Some residents voiced their issues and concerns, while others praised Lafarge and saw no harm in the proposal.
I myself and other residents of Northeast Michigan are already dealing with health issues of specific and unusual occurrence in our area due to suspect industrial pollution to such a large degree that we've achieved the reputation of being the cancer belt. We have to understand that what goes in those kilns comes out either in our water, our soil, or our air. It's bioaccumulative, it doesn't go away.
Burn it in a controlled environment. It's just good recycling.
Paul Rogers, plant manager for Lafarge, complimented those who came out, even those who are against the issue at hand.
I think most people, the disagreement is lack of information, and I applaud them coming out to a meeting like this to let their views know. We take their comments seriously, either to correct any misconceptions or to dig into the way that we do things, because we're always looking for ways to ensure that what we're doing is a positive economic, social, environmental impact on the whole community of Alpena and all the surrounding areas.
This issue is ongoing, and the main reason for the meeting was to take formal testimony and hear out both sides. Reporting in Alpena, Michelle McConaughey, WBKB News.
Local law enforcement agencies and emergency response personnel will be battling it out on the ice. On October 18th at Northern Lights Arena, the 12th annual Pigs in Heat hockey game will take place. Firefighters and law enforcement will match up to raise money for the Children's Advocacy Center. This is the second year that the proceeds have been donated to the Children's Advocacy Center, which is a place for children who have been neglected and abused. It's also a way for officials to escape from work and have some fun.
Well, it's not very often that we're able to get together for social or recreational events. Usually when we interact, it's on runs, it's on emergency calls, crashes, that type of thing. So this is a relief for us, and it's also an opportunity for our families to get together and interact.
The event will be from 5 to 7 p.m. and is free and open to the public. Firefighters and law enforcement ask that you come out to the match and support the community. The Huron Undercover Narcotics team arrested a 21-year-old Alpena woman for attempting to provide sexual services for money. Hunt detectives were made aware through a number of allegations that an Alpena woman was offering and possibly conducting sexual services in exchange for money to patrons at local bars. After receiving additional information and conducting an investigation, Hunt detectives confirmed the allegations were true and arrested the female while she was leaving a downtown establishment on the way to provide sexual services to another individual for money.
The unfortunate thing is I think you can relate this back to to drug use and to drug trafficking in the area. It's just something that's going to come along with it. You see a lot of associated crimes with narcotics trafficking.
The woman was lodged at the Alpena County Jail and charged with 1 count of prostitution that is punishable up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. She's not yet been arraigned. You can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online. Visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night. Meteorologist Adam Claiborne will have your full weather forecast later on. Plus, water levels in one Michigan lake have risen. Find out which one after the break. Welcome back. In state news, Lake Michigan's water levels are rising after being below normal for years.
According to the National Weather Service, Lake Michigan's water level is higher than it's been in 15 years, in large part due to the past winter keeping the lake a frozen tundra, which reduced evaporation rates. Back in October of 1998, the lake level was 579.23 feet, and right now, the lake level is about 579.1 feet. That's still a 3-foot rise since the January 2013 level of 576.02 feet. As a result, waves are more easily able to breach the pier during stormy conditions, making them incredibly dangerous.
This pier, it's a trap. You know, the wind pushes the water in, the water's got to go somewhere. It's going to break along this wall, and it makes us very treacherous.
As we continue further into the fall season, strong autumn storms become more and more common, which is why the lake tends to be dangerous more often this time of the year than any other. Since the water level is higher, it won't take much for these storms to create waves that wash over the pier. The best way to protect yourself from the danger is very simple.
Stay off the piers when there's waves coming over. When they're washing the piers, stay off.
The power of Lake Michigan is captivating and draws us to it, but there's nothing wrong with keeping your distance and watching its dangerous beauty from shore. I'm Ed Russo reporting for WSBT Channel 22 News.
Lake levels normally fall this time of year, but strong autumn storms could generate big enough waves to breach the piers. Airline stocks are rebounding after taking a hit on Wednesday. American, United, Continental, and Delta are all back up after news of the first diagnosed case of Ebola in the United States left investors concerned that passengers would be discouraged from traveling. ExxonMobil CEO Rex Tillerson says his company is prohibiting employee travel to countries directly affected by the Ebola outbreak. This spread of the virus has also disrupted some of Exxon's operations in West Africa. And drug makers testing potential Ebola vaccines are seeing their stocks soar. Pharmaceutical giant GlaxoSmithKline is already testing its potential vaccine on human subjects. There is still more to come on WBKB News. Eric Perry will be in with the latest in sports, and Adam Claiborne is coming up with your full weather forecast. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. Meteorologist Adam Claiborne has been keeping an eye on the weather for us. Adam?
Well, the rain just keeps on coming. We saw it more throughout the afternoon, yes, on today, and Friday looks to be the same thing. The temperatures, they're a little mild. It's 59 in Harrisville, 54 in Alpena, and at 61 down in Tawas. Earlier this week, we were seeing more of the lower 40s for temperatures, but back in the UP, they are seeing that cooler air mass start to arrive yet again, and that's what we will begin to expect as we make our way throughout the afternoon tomorrow. Cooler air is on the way, but we won't start to feel more of the 40s until maybe sometime tomorrow night. In terms of our winds, they're already seeing the northerly winds back here into the UP, 15 miles per hour in Marquette, 15 also in Iron Mountain, and at 22 from the north in Manistee. Our winds are light and are expected to be that way as we head into the overnight. But as we go into early tomorrow, coming in more from a south-southeasterly direction and then back to the north as we go into the afternoon after the disturbance does start to work its way off to the east and drag down that cooler air. So let's talk about our headlines. Tonight, temperatures will be on the milder side and we'll be expecting more rain, so have the umbrellas with you. Not only tonight, but even as you head throughout the day on your Friday, areas of heavy rain at times, so we could even be looking out for a good amount of rain throughout the afternoon, and then by tomorrow night, that's when things start to wind down a bit. We'll be expecting more of the lighter showers and then even dissipating to hardly any showers whatsoever at all. We could have a slight chance of a shower early Saturday morning, or maybe even a small chance as we go into Sunday, but and they'll be very small, anywhere between 10 to 20%. And as we take a look at this setup, the cooler air mass is working its way in as the jet stream dips all the way down into the center of the country. We'll feel that more as we head into the weekend, but the rain is going to be around, and we'll see that as the system does push its way off to the northeast. Wraparound moisture will be around for us early Saturday, and then maybe another weak feature comes in by Sunday to enhance the rainfall yet again. But taking a look at our futurecast model, the warmer air mass, relatively warmer air mass that was in place, that will start to push its way to the south, and this cooler air will be around as we go into the weekend, expecting to push down highs back into the low and mid 50s for both Saturday and for Sunday. For tonight, though, we will be mild, expecting lows to drop off into the mid and upper 50s. Alpena will call for 58 degrees as showers continue to linger. Southeast winds between 5 to 10 miles per hour. For us on Friday, the rain just keeps on coming. North winds between 10 to 15 miles per hour. Take a look at highs. 60 degrees in Atlanta, 64 in West Branch, 64 also in Osceola, and see in the middle 60s in Harrisville, and 61 for us in Rogers City. Tomorrow night, expect lows to drop back off into the 40s as that cooler air does start to arrive. They'll feel a little cooler because of the north winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Checking out the lows, 49 degrees in Harrisville, 47 in West Branch, 45 in Mile, and at 48 in Onaway. So definitely going to be a much cooler night tomorrow night than what it is going to be tonight. For our day planner, we'll start off around the upper 50s. Rain is in the forecast, 63 degrees for your high during the afternoon, and then really starting to cool off by tomorrow night, finding ourselves back in the middle 40s for overnight lows. For our 7-day forecast, after the rain on Friday, very small chance early on Saturday, and then another very slight chance on Sunday, as we'll expect chances anywhere between 10 to 20% on both days, with highs only in the middle 50s. As we make our way into Monday, though, there will be another feature that works its way in, enhancing rain chances to about 30%, and we'll look to finally eventually dry out by Tuesday.
Thanks, Adam. Now it's time for today's photo of the day. Today's photo was sent in by Barbara O'Connor of Hale. Barbara took this at the Westgate overlook of the Osable River. Thanks, Barbara. And if you have a photo you'd like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@wbkb11.com. Coming up on WBKB News, researchers link a woman's mood to dementia and why teen pregnancy rates are dropping. Stay tuned. Welcome back. In national news, a freelance NBC cameraman working in Liberia has been diagnosed with Ebola. He's the fourth American known to have contracted the disease. Meanwhile, about 100 people who had contact with an infected Liberian man in Texas are being monitored for symptoms.
This Dallas apartment is under a public health lockdown. Inside, 4 relatives of Ebola patient Thomas Eric Duncan are confined in a court-ordered, police-monitored quarantine. One was seen picking up food that was left at the door Wednesday, but no one's allowed in or out. Last weekend, the 4 relatives, including Wilfred Smallwood's 21-year-old son, helped Duncan get medical attention.
His skin started getting hot, and when he started going vomiting and throwing up in the bathroom, so that's when they called the ambulance to pick him up.
The family members are among almost 100 people who had direct or indirect contact with Duncan. So far, none has developed any symptoms of the disease. Duncan himself did not show symptoms of Ebola when he flew to the U.S. almost 2 weeks ago. While living in Liberia, he had helped a young pregnant neighbor who later died of Ebola. When he left Liberia, Duncan filled out this form denying he had been in contact with anyone who had the virus. Liberia's president says he will be prosecuted.
But the fact that he knew and he left the country is unpardonable, quite frankly. I just hope that nobody else get affected.
U.S. health officials are working to fulfill that hope. Marley Hall, CBS News, Dallas.
The Dallas hospital where the patient is being treated initially sent Duncan home. The hospital blames that error on its electronic health record system, but now has the problem fixed. In your Health Watch this evening, a new study finds teen pregnancies and abortions drop dramatically when free birth control is available. Researchers at Washington University's School of Medicine studied hundreds of teens over 5 years. They found when teens had access to contraceptives, pregnancy rates fell from 16% to 3%. There were similar drops in teen birth rates and abortions. British researchers have a new target in the battle to treat asthma brought on by colds. They've discovered a small molecule may play a central role in how viral infections trigger asthma attacks. Scientists hope their findings will lead to better treatments. And middle-aged women who are easily distressed could be at increased risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. That's according to a new study in Sweden that followed 800 women for 38 years. Researchers found women who worried, were jealous, or moody were more likely to develop dementia. Sports is coming up next, and Eric Pree is here with a preview. Eric?
Allison, the Tigers had a rough day in Baltimore against the Orioles in Game 1 of the ALDS. We'll have highlights from that game. Plus, see if the Rogers City Hurons were able to continue their dominance on the volleyball court as they were at home taking on the Hale Eagles. That's coming up next. MLB postseason is a time for pitchers and batters to dig deep, step up their game, and show the world what they got. This afternoon, Baltimore was the epicenter of the baseball world, and Camden Yards was the stage for the Tigers and Orioles in the first game of the ALDS. The Tigers had dominated the Orioles throughout the regular season, but would they be able to continue that success in the postseason? Not a great start for Detroit in the first inning. Nelson Cruz finds a pitch he likes and drives it deep right center field over the wall for a 2-run home run. Baltimore takes the early 2-0 lead. Tigers looking to come right back in the top of the second inning. Victor Martinez is also going to play long ball with a solo shot to right field. That cuts the lead to just 1 run. Very next batter is going to be J.D. Martinez, and he says, I'll have what he's having. He also hits a solo home run to right field in his first postseason at-bat, and the Tigers tie the game up at 2 apiece. Bottom half of the inning, though, and the Orioles are not letting up. Nick Markakis finds a gap in right center field for a single. That's going to drive in Ryan Flaherty to give Baltimore the 3-2 lead. 4-2 now in the top of the 8th inning, but Miguel Cabrera is going to change that with one swing of the bat. That's the third solo home run of the night for the Tigers, and the lead is cut down to just 1 run. However, the bottom half of the 8th is where it all fell apart for Detroit. The bullpen allows 7 runs in 1 inning, and just like that, it's a blowout game. Orioles go on to win Game 1 of the series 12-3. Tigers will look to rebound tomorrow with Justin Verlander on the mound. The Rogers City Hurons were home this evening hosting the Hale Eagles in some North Star League volleyball action. This game would be all Hurons early and often. In the first set, it's Jenna Tilgeski with a strong spike at the kill. She led the team with 7 kills. Later in the set, it's Alexa Quain with one of her 4 kills on the night. Hurons win set 1 25-5. More the same in the second set. This time it's Sarah Meredith who spikes the ball with authority to increase her team's lead. They win that set 25-10. And then finally in the third set, it's Heather Henkowski with a kill of her own. Rogers City wins this matchup in 3 straight sets. The Alpena Wildcats soccer team traveled south today to take on the Ogama Heights Falcons. The Wildcats would go on to win this game by a score of 5-1. 2 goals were scored by Peter Guest, who also had an assist on the night. Tommy Hine also scored 2 goals in the game. Mitchell Day contributed with a goal of his own and an assist. The win makes it 5 straight for the Wildcats and improves their record to 9-10 on the season. Their next game will be home on Monday against the Tawas Braves. The 3-1 Detroit Lions are back at Ford Field this weekend after defeating the New York Jets this past Sunday. The team is in first place in the NFC North and riding high, looking for their 3rd straight win. But if you think the Lions are satisfied with that, think again. The team knows that they need to stay hungry if they want to continue their success and prevent what happened last year from happening again this year. Last season, the Lions started 3-1 and led the division going into the 10th week, but then the team collapsed in the last 6 games, and eventually head coach Jim Schwartz was let go. And speaking of Jim Schwartz, he will be coming back to Detroit this weekend to take on his old team as a member of the Buffalo Bills coaching staff, but current head coach Jim Caldwell is not going to let his team become complacent.
It's not like this is the end of the season and we're 2 games away from finishing it up. I mean, this is just the first quarter's over with. We're going into the second quarter. There's a whole lot of football to be played. So I don't think there's a guy in our locker room that even feels remotely close that we've arrived. And I think that's kind of the thing that's been really pleasing about these guys. These guys are hungry.
As for injuries for the Lions, they remain without tight end Joseph Fourier, who is dealing with a bum ankle. Running back Joique Bell is still not cleared for practice after suffering a concussion this past Sunday. And star wide receiver Calvin Johnson continues to deal with an ankle injury, but is expected to play this weekend.
So many injuries.
Yeah, they're pretty banged up, but you know, another Detroit team, the Tigers, they need to look to really recover tomorrow because they just can't go down 2-0 in that series. They need to come back and win that game tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
This needs to be a good week for Detroit.
Yeah,
so
hopefully. We're all crossing our fingers.
Thanks, Eric. Coming up on WBKB News, meteorologist Adam Claiborne will be back with one last look at the weather.
Welcome back, everyone. Tomorrow, more rain is on the way, so expect that throughout the afternoon. Some areas could even see heavy rain at times, so definitely watch out for that. Highs make their way into the lower 60s, and then we'll drop off back into the 40s with the cooler air mass working its way in. 4-hour, 7-day forecast. Tomorrow looks to be the day where we see the most rain because by Saturday, a lot of that will be out of here. It'll be a very small chance on both Saturday and Sunday of seeing a shower or two, but for the most part, it should be a dry day for us. Highs in the middle 50s, so much cooler, and we'll see the 50s on into Monday.
So lots of rain for the next couple days.
Yeah,
so.
we were saying earlier the 6th that if you're going to plan on doing that tailgating tomorrow for the homecoming game, you might want to get an umbrella, your raincoat, your rain boots, because it looks like it's going to be pretty wet.
And remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates, and add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV or follow our Twitter handle at WBKB11.
That's all we have for tonight's show, but be sure to catch Ashley McDowell tomorrow at 6:30. Have a great night.